How's it going, everyone? I want to go over Square Enix's New Year's statement, particularly the portion that's making the rounds right now, and it is a little bit worrying. I don't want to push the cart before the horse a little bit too much, but you know what? I'll speculate on some of the things, and we all know that AI in game development is going to be a big fixture going forward. It's really, you know, a lot of the talk and rhetoric is a bit out of my pay grade, but I can speculate, and just knowing how companies, businesses operate, it is a little bit worrying from one standpoint. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. But as noted, there was a Square Enix New Year's post that was made, and it goes over a lot of information, and specifically, Square Enix's president says it will be aggressive in applying AI. What was specifically noted was this: we also intend to be aggressive in applying AI and other cutting-edge technologies to both our content development and our publishing functions. In the short term, our goal will be to enhance our development productivity and achieve greater sophistication in our marketing efforts. In the longer term, we hope to leverage those technologies to create new forms of content for consumers, as we believe the technological innovation represents business opportunities. Also noted was, I believe that generative AI has the potential to not only reshape what we create, but also fundamentally change the process by which we create, including programming. There's a lot more that's gone over in the entirety of the post, the New Year's letter from the president. There's also some talk about blockchains and things like that, which I know is immediately worrying. The actual letter is pretty lengthy, and it goes over a variety of different things. I do want to know one more thing. In terms of new business domains, we previously identified 3 focus investment fields, namely blockchain, entertainment, Web 3.0, AI, and the cloud. Last year, we redefined our overarching mission and goals for these 3 fields. We are currently working to modify our organizational structure and optimize our resource allocation to support these efforts. Now, blockchain is immediately something that does worry a lot of people, but AI in game development is a slippery slope for a variety of reasons. I am really pessimistic when it comes to everything gaming related these days. I'm just pessimistic about life, because what I feel like is the best approach to life is expect the worst, or at the very least, be prepared for the worst. Be very comfortable with the worst case scenario, and if you get comfortable with that, well then, if that does come to fruition, at least you're gonna be prepared, or at least you were expecting it, whatever terminology you want to use. But AI implementation in terms of game development, yes, I could certainly see how that would increase productivity, but I do also worry in the standpoint of AI eliminating jobs in terms of game development, because I would imagine that from a higher up standpoint, like the bigwigs that are looking to make the most profitable company imaginable, these $250 million games, these budgets, can AI cut down those budgets of games? And I have talked about the turnaround time for these games when we're talking about 5 to 7 year development cycles. This is something I saw Sean Layden bring up all the time on social media. I am not for the utilization of AI eliminating jobs, and thus we continue the standard of the games and $200 and $250 million games. I have been advocating for the scaling back of games. I don't think there's any reason why games are at the level that they are. I just don't think it's worth the squeeze, but I think it's a case of once the toothpaste is out of the tube, there's no putting it back in, which is always gonna be an issue. You could, but I think most would agree that it's probably not a wise idea to revert back to what we were having in the late 2000s and early 2010s, even though that I would argue that that was the best time for gaming, but that's a diatribe that's rather here nor there. Obviously, the companies themselves want to create the biggest profit margins possible, and if that means utilizing AI to eliminate jobs, like, that is something you have to be concerned with. That is something you have to take into account. And I obviously always see artists talk about AI and AI art and things of that nature, and that is an area where it's just like, yo, that is some murky territory you are getting into. But if you are telling me that, you don't think that the higher-ups and the people that are head of the company that have stockholders to answer to, that is the most important thing, especially when you're talking about publicly traded companies. You have stockholders to answer to. If there's an avenue that's easy to implement that will eliminate jobs, but at the same time, you are going to get the same net result. It'll cheapen the cost of games. It will let them turn around games quicker, etc., etc., and it will lead to bigger profit margin. Well, you would obviously think, like, this ain't rocket science. I say that this is out of my pay grade, but, like, I'm not implementing anything that's rocket science. I would be concerned from a job standpoint. What I would hope best case scenario would be you use AI in conjunction with incredibly talented developers to create more and bigger games at a more rapid pace. That would be great! If we could get to a point where AI is being utilized in conjunction with developers to create quicker turnaround for games, if we could get to that point, which that's something I've seen in my comment section over and over again with people chiming in when we talk about the game development cycles getting longer and longer, and me talking about, you know, Red Dead Redemption 3 not going to come out till like 2040 or something like that. A lot of you guys do chime in being like, hey, with the implementation of AI and how that's utilized in gaming and the rapid evolution of AI as a whole, how that's implemented in gaming could speed up the development progress. That would be the best case scenario if developers are all gonna get to keep their jobs and then AI is used in conjunction and it can speed up the development of games. And at that point, everybody is winning. You're gonna get more games, you're gonna get quicker game sequels, you're gonna get better development, better games hopefully, depending on, you know, how AI matures and evolves. That's, again, out of my pay grade. I don't know the trajectory of AI and how that's ultimately gonna be, but it's obviously something developers are looking into implementing into their game development to overall increase productivity, and I would have to assume that at some point the rubber is gonna meet the road when it comes to these game development prices. You can increase the budget. You can't continue to go up from 220 million, 250 million, 300, 400 million. Like, at some point, we gotta be like, whoa, buddy, we gotta scale this back a little bit, or at least, you know, get to a halt, because that's not gonna be sustainable for a long term. Yeah, there's gonna be games that do exceptionally well, and that can sustain a $200 million budget, but that's not every game. That's few and far between that's gonna be successful. And you look at 2023 and how many layoffs there were, these studio closures, etc., like, something has to change in terms of game development from what I'm seeing as far as across the board and how big these games are, because you can't just, the other option is to increase the price point of games and get to a point where we're selling games for $150 or $120 or whatever, which is kind of the case when you're talking about special editions, ultimate editions, to justify the development costs. And, you know, that's one thing, but if you, like, imagine if Mortals of Aveum came out at $100 instead of $70, like, no, like, that cannot happen. We cannot get to that point where games are $100, at least not yet. And hopefully nowhere near in the future, because at the point of games getting to $100, well, at that point, there's gonna be a large portion of people that are just gonna be like, yo, this hobby is too expensive, or yo, I have my 3 to 4 free-to-play games, I'll stick to those and F everything else. Or the amount of games they're picking up yearly is just gonna get limited and limited. So, again, this is a lot of speculation on my part, like I've said, and I've always been like this on this channel, and honestly in life, I am a pessimistic person by nature. I always like to expect, or at least be prepared for the worst-case scenario. Get comfortable with the worst-case scenario, because if you're comfortable with that, well, then it won't be that much of a shocker when it actually comes to fruition. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. I've been seeing this be discussed quite a bit, so interested to hear your guys' opinions. Sound off down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.